It's Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan. This is Cricbuzz Chatter. Look, of course this test match was going to be a draw after the 3 days of rain, but we'll find some interest in it anyway. There always is interest when there's test cricket being played, Michael, and there was today. And the fact that Crawley went on to make a half century, Mohammad Abbas got the ball shaping around, it was a fairly interesting couple of hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually analyse the cricket that's been played over the 5 days, it's been riveting because the pitch has had a little bit of action. There's plenty of swing and seam, a bit of spin for Azhar. You could tell from the Pakistan leg spinner he liked bowling on this week because the odd ball was scooting low. That one that did for Ollie Pope was an absolute beauty. So yeah, there's not been a great deal in terms of huge talking points, but there's been enough over the course of the few days that we know on Friday when the test starts again, the third test, the decider, we're certainly going to get a result if we can get the umpires and the administration teams to decide to play on a bit of bad light. Just a little whisper that they might have to play on the same pitch because the pitch 2 down has not had any kind of preparation. It obviously hasn't had the sunshine. It's been under tarpaulins pretty much for 4 or 5 days. The weather over the next 2 or 3 days doesn't look great. It looks to me like it might need a bit of sunshine before it gets the nod for Friday. So we might have a test starting on Friday that's actually been used already, which would be a first in my time.
A nice little nugget there from Michael Vaughan, breaking the news on Cricbuzz Chatter. In terms of Pakistan, Mohammad Abbas, we saw him bowl yesterday. It feels like a million years ago when they started that bowling innings, but it's as though when he comes to England, everything different. He seems like he has the ball on a string, picking up 2 late wickets today, beating the outside edge of Crawley and getting him out leg before then strangling Sibley down the leg side. He's perhaps Pakistan's most dangerous bowler at about 75 mile an hour.
Yeah, he is, and he loves bowling with the Duke ball. You only have to look at his record when he played for Leicestershire in the county championship. He's got a phenomenal record, and the fact that you look at the way that England are playing him, they're kind of walking at him, trying to get the pads outside the line of off stump. They're trying to nullify LBW and bowled. By doing that, they're still playing at delivery, so he's still got the outside edge to aim for. He's a wonderful bowler. You can always tell that when a batting unit has had meetings, and clearly the England team have had meetings of how to play him, you know that he's a real threat. And I thought the Pakistan attack, Shaheen Afridi didn't bowl a great deal, but he bowled a few bounces, which was nice to see. Naseem Shah bowled okay. Wasn't quite at his best like we saw in Manchester, but I think we're going to see in the third test 2 teams that know they can get 20 wickets, so it really comes down to which batting units can play with a great deal of skill, attrition, probably a bit of flamboyancy at time, a few risks that you have to try and take against this high class seam attacks on both sides. So I think we're in for an absolute classic on Friday because this Pakistan team, they've surprised me this week by getting that score in the first innings. Realistically, they should have been bowled out for 150, 170. Rizwan played beautifully, just reading the conditions nicely. Babar Azam's in a decent run of form, and then Abid Ali at the top of the order got a nice 60. I'd just make one change for Pakistan. I'd bring Shadab Khan back in. Fawad Alam would be moved to one side just because of the fact that we saw some spin, and if they are potentially going to play on the same pitch, I mean, that's just a little whisper. Not too sure whether it's going to be to fruition, but there is a whisper that could happen. If that's the case, surely you'd want a second spinning option and also a player that's done well with the bat in English conditions. For England, I'm sure Jofra Archer will come back in. Mohammad Abbas bowled a ball to Joe Root. It landed on a length and it flew past his right shoulder. I can only imagine what Jofra Archer would be thinking to bowl at 90 miles an hour, coming from this height, smacking it into that length. Very similar to the way that we saw him against the West Indies on the last day here. So I would think Jofra Archer will be back in the England team.
All right, Vaughanie, let's go into the hotspot. In the hotspot, Crawley, you've been a big fan of his. You enjoyed the way he played today. Talk us through his innings there at number 3 and how he's improved in his short career in England colours.
Yeah, I just think he seems to have a positive mind. He seems to be always looking to score, which it's great to see, but also could be his downfall because, he kind of goes up in the gear so quickly. I love the way that he plays spin. He danced down and flicked Azhar shot over the top, so he's never going to let a spinner settle. To get the big scores, he's just got to be careful of going up into the gears too soon. He's got to understand in Test match cricket, it's about the long haul. It's about batting for 6 hours, and you always don't have to be taking the high risk shots, but he times the ball beautifully. He's a tall chap. He likes to play on the up. He's got a nice onside game. He's got a good pull shot. He's getting to the stage that he'd want a big 100. If he can get that first Test match century, it's a big badge of honour in any young player's career. And you just feel with the way that he's playing, if he can get in again on Friday, he's got a great chance of getting that big score and really locking himself in that number 3 position.
And just pressing fast forward before we go, Vaughanie. I mean, the fact that the England bowlers have barely really played this week, of course, they bowled in the first innings, but it wasn't the sort of wear and tear you'd expect across a test match. Will there be the temptation to simply, with the exception of bringing Archer in, effectively going with the same bowling lineup, which would include Anderson and Broad once again, the old-timers?
Yeah, they've masterminded their wizardry by some very powerful interviews. It's been a senior pro masterclass in terms of how to work the media to make sure that you play. But, you know, when you're at their level, why wouldn't you want to be playing with the Duke ball in these conditions? They're seeing the ball swing and seam. The past masters, why wouldn't they want to be playing? So I don't blame them at all for what they've done and obviously wanting to play. It's in their nature. It's great for English cricket that you got two senior pros that are desperate to get out there and play. I'd be amazed if both of them aren't playing. I'd be amazed if Chris Woakes isn't playing. I wouldn't be surprised if Jofra Archer replaced Sam Curran.
So the end of a disappointing week at Southampton. But the good news, the third and final test match starts in just 3 days' time. It starts on Friday. We'll, of course, be there throughout on Cricbuzz Chatter. We'll have our preview up in a couple of days. And then, Michael, you'll be there. I'll be watching very closely as well. It's been an excellent test match summer on the whole. Let's hope for something special on the way out.